the pastor stopped passing plates. When my aunt asked why the deposit check had bounced again, I got cornered over sausage gravy in a church fellowship hall. Not how I pictured my Sunday. My cousin Leah's bridal luncheon was 6 days away, and my mother had been treating it like proof she was the backbone of our family. Most of the planning had landed on me because I answer emails, keep receipts, and look easy to volunteer. 3 weeks earlier, Mom asked me to reserve the fellowship hall in my name. She said the office wanted 1 person. Then she asked me to front the first deposit and promised to reimburse me by Friday. She also told me not to mention any of it to Dad because he was stressed about bills. By Sunday, the room was packed for the women's breakfast after service. Aunt Denise was arranging centerpieces for Leah's luncheon. Mom was floating from table to table getting thanked for her heart. I was near the coffee urn when Denise asked whether I had fixed the deposit problem. I thought she meant the money Mom still owed me, so I said, "I'm waiting on her." That landed badly. Denise stopped smiling. 2 women near the pastries looked over. Then Denise said, "No, Rachel, the check that bounced. The office called yesterday." I froze because I had not written any check. Pastor Neil came through the side door with the collection plates, heard enough to pause, and said he wanted to clear things up before rumors spread. Mom crossed the room fast and said this was not the time. Denise said it became the time when the hall could be released if the second deposit was not covered by Monday. Leah went red. I asked, "What check?" Pastor Neil glanced at my mother first. Then he said, the office had received a paper check after the first deposit. The check was returned Friday. Denise had seen the copy that morning when she went to confirm the setup. Mom jumped in and said she had only done that because I told her my account was tight and she was trying to help me. It was such a polished lie I almost respected. I pulled out my phone because I saved texts. I found her message. "Can you keep the reservation under your name? The office gets weird after a bounced check, and I do not need people in my business." Right under that was the message asking me to front the first deposit, just until my check clears. I handed my phone to Denise. She read it, blinked twice, and passed it to Pastor Neil. Mom started talking over everyone, saying the text was about an old misunderstanding with the Christmas market, which only made things worse, because now there was apparently a previous bounced check too. Then Pastor Neil set the plates down and said, "Marilyn, the return check to the office was signed by you." That was when the room changed. Not yelling, just a drop in her authority. My father, who had been pretending to read the bulletin by the wall, finally looked up and asked why she had told him the luncheon deposits were fully covered 2 weeks ago. Leah turned and stared at her own mother. Denise folded her arms and asked why I had been called unreliable all week if I was the one who had already paid. Mom tried one last move and said families should protect each other instead of humiliating each other in public. It might have worked if she had not spent the entire breakfast doing exactly that to me. Pastor Neil said the office would need cashier's funds by Monday and that no more purchases should be made until then. Denise said she would not order flowers. Leah asked if the luncheon had to be scaled back. Dad said, in the flattest voice I have ever heard from him, that he was taking over the budget that afternoon. Nobody asked me to cover anything else after that. Mom tried to hand me her car keys outside and said we needed to talk privately, but Dad took them from her and told me to go home. The luncheon is probably still happening, just smaller and less glossy. The bigger consequence is that my family finally watched my mother's story fail in real time, and now the person everyone treats like a financial risk is not me.